Arch, it has been a minute since we have talked Falcons. How you doing?
I'm doing good, doing all the things we're supposed to be doing. They're, both the professional telling us what to do, and I think that you and I are both trying to do that. Hopefully, everybody else is too. And we'd like to, to tell everybody, hey, be safe out there. We're thinking about you, and we're going to do this a lot. So we're going to try to keep people close to the Falcons.
Yeah, obviously, we wish we could be doing this within the Falcons headquarters, but that's not going to stop us from breaking down the Falcons' recent free agency moves. A lot of things have changed on the Falcons roster since we've last talked about it. So let's get right to those first marquee signings the Falcons made in the first week of free agency. I want to start with Dante Fowler because, in my opinion, that was the biggest signing that the Falcons made. They finally get that top-tier pass rusher they've long desired. They replaced Vic Beasley's production with hopefully someone who will have even more production. And I love all that Dante Fowler plays with that tenacity, that energy, that meanness that the Falcons need on defense. What about you?
Yeah, I love the nastiness he's going to bring to the table, Kelsey, on the defensive side of the football. And I think we all want him to get to the passer, right? And he did that a year ago, 11 and a half sacks a year ago. He had 16 or 17 tackles for loss last year, too. And that's the area that maybe I'm going to concentrate on today. We all know he can rush the passer. He's a multifaceted guy. He's got multiple abilities, speed rush, bull rush. He's got other moves. So he's not just a one-trick pony when it comes to rushing the passer. But how do you get to that passing down? I think he's going to help in that regard in the run game. Bigger body guy at 6'3", 265 pounds. I think he's going to have the ability to set that edge in the run game that we didn't see consistently last season. I think that'll help. That'll spill some of the run game to the outside. And what's the strength of this Falcon defense? Their ability to run. Deion Jones, Foye Oluokun, those guys at the linebacker spot, Keanu O'Neal and Ricardo Allen, DeMonte Casey at safety running to get to the football. If you can spill stuff to the outside, that's going to prevent the run game. And now all of a sudden you look up, it's 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, and here comes Dante Fowler off the edge.
Yeah, and another important addition about the Dante Fowler signing is that he wanted to come to Atlanta. He wanted to play for Dan Quinn just as much as Dan Quinn wanted him to come to Atlanta. So I think the Falcons are getting a guy who's really excited about this next chapter of his career in Atlanta. So let's move to the guy who kind of surprised me, Hayden Hurst, the tight end the Falcons traded with Baltimore Ravens for. And I think the reason I say it was surprising is because I really felt that the Falcons were going to fill this need in the draft, knowing they probably knew that they weren't going to be able to re-sign Austin Hooper. But I like it because now the Falcons get a proven player. They don't have to worry about holding this rookie because the Falcons are in now mode and they're getting a guy, Hayden Hurst, who has experience playing. He'll be an asset in the blocking game. Someone asked me yesterday, do you think he'll have the same type of, receiving stats that Austin Hooper had? And I don't think we can go ahead and compare that. Austin Hooper and Matt Ryan had years of reps banked together, but I really like the addition in that he has experience. What about you?
Well, I'll argue that his numbers are going to be as good as Hooper's. I think that he's going to have those kind of numbers. I think the opportunity to present itself to him is going to give him that opportunity. Now, Hoop had, 75 receptions a year ago. Hayden Hurst had just 30, but that's more about opportunity necessarily than maybe his skill level. Now, he's a little bit more unproven than Hoop has because, as you said, he had 4 years with Matt Ryan, did Austin Hooper. Now, Hayden Hurst comes in as a guy that was very accomplished at the college level. He came in, got injured his first year with a stress fracture, missed some time, ultimately was not on the field as much as he would like to. I think now more opportunity is going to provide him with the ability to displace like we saw with Hooper, play on the end line. I think he has the ability to pinball to the inside like we see on 3rd down to make some catches. And I also think he can get vertical down the field. We've seen that in his career, although it's a small sample size. So I think he has the ability to do those kind of things. What I do think he's going to add to the table, I think he's a better inline blocker than Austin Hooper was. And again, no disparaging comments to Hoop. I thought he was a great player. But this guy is got some ability to block on the edge, and that's going to help us with, I think, the guy you're going to talk about next.
Yes, but before I get to that guy,
Okay,
I do want to point out this nugget that maybe some people might have missed with Hayden Hurst. When I talked to Hayden Hurst a couple weeks ago, he said that throughout the draft process, the Falcons were really high on him back in 2018. And the Ravens actually picked Hayden Hurst, the pick before the Falcons took Calvin Ridley. So now the Falcons get a tight end they liked a couple years ago, and they have Calvin Ridley. So, I mean, it really worked out for him. So yes,
Absolutely. We get a buzz.
let's get to that guy that Falcons fans are really excited about, rightfully so, with his ties to the University of Georgia, but Todd Gurley. This move, it seemed like it was going to happen once the Rams released him, and there were reports that it was going to be between the Dolphins and the Falcons in terms of interest for him. But the Falcons, after they released Devontae Freeman, desperately needed that 1A running back, and they're getting a proven guy who just a couple years ago, we were talking about if he was the best running back in the game, and they get him, and he's still really young. We don't know, the limits of what's the status of his knee, but like I said a couple of days ago, it's a very low risk, high reward for the Falcons, and I know you're going to have more on exactly what kind of runner he's going to be for the Falcons, but I really like the fact that he can be an asset in the passing game too.
Well, listen, this is a guy, it's a fully accomplished guy. He can catch it, as you just talked about. He can run it. We know that. So what condition is he in coming in? We don't know specifically how the knee is. Let's put it this way. He missed one full game a year ago. Okay, there's all this talk about his knee. He's only missed 4 games in his last 4 seasons, full games now. So we're not talking about a guy that's missed lengthy amounts of time. Now, has he missed parts of games? Maybe, but only 4 full games for the entire year. What I do know is in a down year for Todd Gurley, he ran for 900 yards and 12 touchdowns. The Falcons had 10 touchdowns combined on the ground a year ago. He has 42 touchdowns rushing in his last 3 seasons. The Falcons as a team have 33. I think that's where he makes his biggest impact. You're going to be able to manage the knee. He's going to play for you. You have a running back room that's going to help you do that. But where he's really going to impact the team, I believe, is down in the red zone. The ability to run the ball down close is going to widen the field for the passing game because you got to come up and account for Gurley. Bigger body guy, going to be able to run through tackles. And what does he do? He puts the ball in the end zone on the ground, something the Falcons have not had since 2016.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you brought a couple of those numbers up, because when you bring up the fact that he only missed 1 full game, I think that puts a lot of things in perspective. And I don't know about you, but I can't wait to see the Falcons finally. It seemed like so many times last year they were able to get the ball down the field. They just weren't able to punch it in the end zone. And to get a guy like Todd Gurley who can finish off a promising drive by Matt Ryan is really going to be something I think the Falcons will be excited about. So we don't have to get as in-depth on these next couple of guys, but the Falcons also made a couple moves in signing Justin McCray, the offensive lineman, and wide receiver Laquan Treadwell. Laquan Treadwell is someone who his name from his time at Ole Miss, but he hasn't quite lived up to that first round potential. But the Falcons have another depth receiver to maybe play behind Russell Gage. What are your thoughts on that move and the addition of Justin McCray, who's likely going to be competing for that starting left guard spot?
Well, Laquan Treadwell certainly had a reputation coming out of college. He's a big-time player. And why it didn't come together for him, only he knows that, and maybe the team and the Vikings know that. So here's a fresh opportunity. And I know this, with guys that have changed teams and gone to different places, a lot of times that fresh start is something they've needed. This is an opportunity for him to get that fresh start. Now, he comes into a very crowded wide receiver room. Russell Gage has emerged as that number 3 receiver. Russell is an outstanding special teams player. So Laquan Treadwell, even the former teams, no question about it. So it'll be interesting to see if he can do that, because he's got some people to compete against now. Alameda Zacchaeus isn't giving up his spot. So Laquan Treadwell is going to have to come in and compete. I think McCray is a very good add to the depth of the offensive line, always trying to upgrade that area. That's going to be some fun competition to watch how that plays out on the interior of the offensive line in training camp.
Absolutely. And before we wrap it up, I know we both want to hit on the 2 guys that the Falcons were able to re-sign that were on their roster last year in Tyler Davison and Allen Bailey. I know those are 2 guys that you've been really big on since they came to Atlanta last year. And now with the Adrian Claiborne signing with the Browns and Jack Crawford leaving, the Falcons needed to reassure the fact that they had some depth on that interior defensive line.
Well, I think you got to have the worker bees, Kels. And these are 2 guys that are effort guys, that are worker bee guys. And both have multi-ability. You've got Tyler Davidson that can play the 3 technique between the guard and the tackle. He can also slide down and play the 1 technique, which is a shade of the center. He can play in both spots. Bailey is similar from his ability to play on the perimeter, on the edge, as an edge defender in the run game, and even a pass rusher, but an edge rusher and then he slides inside on pass downs, and he has some multifaceted abilities on the inside. So guys that can play multiple positions and are the effort guys, they're the glue guys, the worker bee guys you have to have on a football team.
You definitely do. So I think it's time for us to give out our grades for free agency moves made by the Falcons. I am going to go with a B so far in the moves that the
solid
Falcons.
B, huh?
A solid B. Like I said, I really like the signing of Dante Fowler and Hayden Hurst. Here's hoping that Todd Gurley is able to give the Falcons the same type of production and hopefully more that he was able to last year. So I give the Falcons a B. What are you grading these moves?
Okay, well, the hopeful part about it is what's going to read into mine. Mine's going to be a B minus. Can you see that? B minus.
Or a minus B.
Or a minus. There you go. B minus. Sorry. whatever it is. But B minus. So the reason the B minus, and I think this is almost like a contract that has escalators in it. If they play well and play to their capabilities, it could very easily be something like that. Right? It could very easily be that, but they have to play that. So there's some uncertainties about Gurley, obviously, and there's some uncertainties about how well Hayden Hurst blends in. But if they play to the capabilities that they both have, then maybe an A is in the offing. But right now, I'm hedging a little bit, and so I think that we have some escalators in there that could really make the grade go way up.
Sounds like we're both on the same page about these moves, but they were certainly exciting. The first week of free agency, it felt like the Falcons were involved almost every single day, and that's got to be exciting for the fans. But like Arch and I said at the beginning, we're going to be doing this throughout free agency, the draft, the offseason. We're going to make sure we keep you guys up to date with everything going on with the Falcons, and we hope to chat with you soon.